Mac and Perry in the place. Da-na-na-na. Mac and Perry
go live to create.
Da-na-na-na. Mac and Perry invite you to stay.
Hello and welcome to TELUS STORYHIVE On Location here in Medicine Hat. We are at Note Comfort Food and Drink. I'm Daniel.
I'm Michael, and this is...
And I'm Greg.
Yes. Thank you so much for meeting with us, Greg.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to dive into some icebreakers with you and our interview and our showcase. But first things first, can you just tell us a little bit about your artistic practice and what it is you do?
Well, I try to write songs and I try to go places and sing them. It's been doing that probably the last 10 or 15 years. I was a musician a long time before that. Didn't think I had anything to say, but turns out at some point I wanted to start writing songs.
We're going to play some icebreakers and just get comfortable. Our first thing is always trivia. How are you with trivia typically?
Depends on the subject.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about Medicine Hat trivia?
I might be stronger in that category.
Yeah.
I'm a lifetime Medicine Hatter, so
love it.
We'll give it a whirl.
We'll give it a whirl. So our first piece of trivia for you, Greg, is Medicine Hat is located along which river? A, Milk River, B, the South Saskatchewan River, C, the Old Man River, or D, the Bow River?
I'm going to go with B, South Saskatchewan.
You got it. An easy one. Knocked it out of the park. Nice. We'll move swiftly along to my next piece of trivia for you. In 1883, what reached the area that would become Medicine Hat, causing a town site first to be developed? A, the Northwest Mounted Police, B, the Canadian Pacific Railway, C, a battle between the Blackfoot and Cree First Nations, or D, a traveling hat business?
I think B, Canadian Pacific Railway.
Yeah, you got it. Right on.
1883.
Yeah. Nice, nice. We are going to do this or that. So very simple questions, just to get an idea of your preferences in life.
Okay.
So I will let you do the honors. Pick one at random, give it a read, and we'll just see what our preferences are.
Okay, the no-look pick. Plan ahead or be spontaneous?
Ooh, what's your preference?
You know, I'm never much for planning, so it's unplanned spontaneity. Probably.
Unplanned spontaneity, nice.
That's my thing.
Yeah. Do you think that's like a classic thing between musicians or
it
artists?
Might be.
Yeah.
A lot of the musicians I've hung with tend to be a little bit more seat of the pants, and yeah, I'm in that camp.
Nice, nice. I think I might be. It's odd, because I think I prefer to plan ahead, but like sometimes it's plan ahead to create chaos. You know what I mean? Especially in the world of theater, it's like you have very limited resources. And so it's like you kind of need to make, like, if you get time in the rehearsal hall, you have to really make the most of it. So you kind of need to plan. Our next one is camp or glamp?
This sounds, I don't want to be a princess, but probably at this stage, glamp.
Yeah.
I like a good hotel room.
That's super fair. Yeah. What's your preference, Michael?
Yeah, definitely I like to camp, like to go hiking in the backcountry and get out into nature. If the opportunity to glamp came up, sure I would go, but I definitely like to rough it.
That's admirable. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't go enough to say. Part of me is like I would like to say camp, but I might be in the boat of glamp. I don't know. I don't go enough to know. So we'll move swiftly along to our tumbling towers.
Well,
I'll let you do the honors.
Should I go first?
Yeah, you do it.
That is 30.
30. Our question is, what country do you want to travel to next?
Good question. Well, I would say Australia.
Oh, interesting.
It's a long flight.
Yeah.
You could just put me in a carrier. Yeah.
Take a nap.
Right. A long nap.
Yeah. Let's see what else we get. There we go. We got one.
Good
Number
pick.
27. Our question is, what's a book you couldn't put down?
I've got a lot of books beside my bed right now of biographies.
Okay.
And a lot of music personalities, Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, Robbie Robertson. But they're all about a quarter read. short attention span. You know, I can read for a while and I go to sleep type of thing, but they're all there and they're all in the process of being read.
Love
so
it.
can't put any of them down. It's inspiring to read about creative people. Yeah. And history too. I write about a bit of history, so yeah. I guess it does inform it.
Nice. 24. Our question is, nicely done. What have you tried that scared you?
That scared me. It's crazy because as a kid, there was hockey and rodeo. Rodeo at some point scared me. That's why I didn't continue with it.
Yeah.
So that's probably the answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either common sense or fear brought it to an end.
Interesting. And how long did you do that for?
I think I was 17. The ripe old age of 17 when it all came to a stop.
Well, I do think that is all the time we have for our first segment here. I'm super excited to dive into our interview with you and just kind of dive into your story and learn a bit more about you in more detail. Tell me a bit more about your craft and what it is you do again.
I took up songwriting in the last 10, 15 years, it seems like.
Yeah.
That's kind of what drives me lately. Creatively, mostly as a songwriting. Kind of all areas of music though, like if it's playing a few different instruments and recording my own stuff. It's all part of the process, but songwriting's kind of the center of it.
What was the start of your creative journey, your music journey specifically?
Probably the start of it was before I even picked up an instrument. You know, I think all kids listen to music at one time or another.
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I got a hold of a little, I'm dating myself, but a Walkman. Just putting the headphones on and putting a cassette in and hearing music in detail. I think that's probably what really started it. I bought my first little cassette player in Oklahoma City, of all places. Gentleman took me and another kid down to the National Finals Rodeo. And we were junior steer riders, and we got to go on this trip. And at a department store down there, I bought this thing. And I got an Alabama cassette, and I just wore it out. Yeah.
Oh, like it wouldn't play anymore? You listened to it so much?
Well, eventually, yeah. That's what happened to most of them that I had.
Yeah.
You know, some of the other kids were into. I think we all bought one of these, and there's another kid that was into Toto and you know, different kinds of music, but that's what I got a hold of, and yeah. And
do you think that's kind of what spurred you, or was there something else that spurred you to pick up an instrument?
I think that was, but another thing was family. My dad played and my brother played before me. Dad played in a dance band when he was a young man. Then he got too busy with farming and family to continue. But there was always an instrument or two around the house. My brother broke the ice and got into it, and got me into it. He invited me to join his band when I was 17.
Okay.
And from there on in.
And that 2-year time span between picking up a guitar, it sounds like, and joining your brother's band.
Yeah.
What was that like? Were you practicing every day? Or was it sparse? Or what was that?
Fair bit of practicing, I guess. It was kind of jumping out of sports and jumping into music. That was when high school was going on. Yeah. Music kind of became a distraction for... Didn't do super well in high school. I got through it, but I was really distracted by music because at some point I decided that's what I wanted to go do well. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that decision kind of came in high school for you, hey?
It did. Yeah. It's crazy. But I guess music grabs a lot of people that way. You get with a band, and then you get with people with a common interest, and you get swept up in it. I always say music is almost as much about the people you get to hang with as the actual notes are. It's a community builder, fellowship type of thing. Yeah.
And are there any examples of that come to mind from like in high school and that time, and friends or stories?
Well, one memory, just less than a block over here, the Royal Hotel stood there for, probably over 100 years, and my brother's band got gigs there.
Okay.
So my grade 12 year is when I joined. And back then, bar music went from Monday to Saturday. So, he'd play there 4 or 5 times a year, Monday to Saturday, 10 to 2.
Yeah.
And then go to school the next morning. And probably most towns were like this. There was a lot of live music going on back in those days.
And so what was that journey like? Was there contention between family, or was it super smooth?
Well, at first it's super smooth because Tim needed a bass player, and he kind of got me up and running and trained me. He allowed me to try different things. At some point I wanted to be the drummer, so he allowed me to try that. And that was really rocky at first. He was really supportive that way. Let me try lead guitar. I want to sing some more. Mom and Dad were encouraging of us to go do it because it was, back in those days, you could make a bit of money doing it. It was kind of the bridge from high school to maybe the working life. We're both involved in ranching right now, but they let us go do that for a few years. Yeah.
And what do you feel that gave you? Because I understand, some people go into the arts and maybe their folks or family members are not as supportive, and it sounds like you're fortunate enough to have that support in some way, shape, or form. So what do you think that gave you?
I feel fortunate because a lot of my friends and people that I know, they've chosen music as a living. With that comes a lot of pressure. And with me, it's maybe for a minute we made a living at it, but the rest of the time it's been a pursuit. It's been a hobby, a serious hobby, but more of a hobby. And there was never the pressure to have to bring home the paycheck just doing that.
Right.
And I think maybe that allows, and for my part, it allows more creativity because I'm not pressured.
What happened next then? After high school, it sounds like, and then it sounds like you had a couple years where you were kind of encouraged to go out and do the thing. What happened during that period?
Well, at some point, I think culture changed a little bit. The music all week and the bars thing kind of dried up, and it went back to just playing here and there, and more working at home on the ranch. And then eventually, I just totally got away from it. Did it for a little while after I got married, and then we had a son, and I'd thrown music totally in the corner for a few years, but there was still a guitar or two around the house. So and then you find out that babies and toddlers they like that sort of thing, and I think that's probably why I picked it up again. Just playing the guitar as the baby's going to sleep type of thing, and now my son is a pretty accomplished steel guitar player. So
nice. In the absence of music and what that meant, was it noticeable for you, or were there just other things in life to take care of?
I think there was other things to fill the space. I got into, I guess, a couple other hobbies. I used to like to hit the gym quite a bit, and got into a thing called kettlebell sport. So it's a round weight with a handle.
Okay.
And just got consumed by that for a few years. So I guess my hobbies kind of swung back to sports for a little bit.
Right. And I ask because I feel like when artists and creative people aren't able to carve out the time for their practice or their art, I feel like there maybe comes some shame or guilt about that. Was that your experience or not at all?
For me, it might more be the other way. That there's always guilt that crept in. If you're trying to write a song or work on a recording, there's that guilt in the background that there's probably something more important that needs to be done. Out on the ranch or with your family, and maybe that's common with creative people. It's like how much time do you want to carve out for yourself to do your personal thing? But I think at the same time it's important. It's become important. I've allowed myself the time to do it. Because I guess it's important for me to do because I enjoy it so much.
In high school and stuff, and with the band versus playing solo, at what point was there a switch from playing maybe other people's music to playing your own music? Was there a distinct shift, or was it a mix?
It was kind of gradual. It started being playing in the band, and then actually this place here, used to be a place called Inspire Cafe. Maureen and Louise ran it, and it was great. They'd have some live acoustic music. So we were here for dinner, and a friend was playing acoustic music in the corner, and I decided that I wanted to try that. And so I was playing other people's music, and then gradually throwing a couple of my own in there, and gradually doing mostly my own music these days.
Taking a break from music in some ways and then coming back to it. In your bio, you mentioned observing life and art and conversation and how those kind of things play a part in your process.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about that? Because I hear a bit of that in just doing life and how that can actually inform later when you do get back to music. So
For sure.
what can you tell me about those three things and observation and their role in your process?
Well, I think it's important. I think it's where everything comes from, because if you sat in a room every day and tried to write, apparently for me it would just dry up, because I think the ideas for creation just come from getting out and living. Yeah. And hopefully catching those ideas when they happen, whether it's writing them down or talking them into voice recorder or whatever. Gathering. A lot of it is just gathering raw material and then having the time to sit down and try to work it into form.
Were there distinct moments of that during that break where you did step away from music?
We talked about distilling ideas and things like that. I think it's just trying to pay attention in life and listening to music or whatever, picking up things in conversation. But I like to hang around in conversations, and observe stuff that's going on. And there's probably little things in a lot of my songs they're maybe stolen, little phrases or quips.
Having a child, a massive milestone, and that somewhere in there kind of inspired you to pick up the guitar again. What was that like?
It was neat. I remember sitting in the hallway, by outside his room, and just playing solo acoustic guitar, trying to play something. And
what happened next then in your journey there? Did you go back to playing music at venues, or was there a bit more of a hiatus there?
Then it started to be venues through a friend. I got my first couple of solo gigs. I got confirmation that they were booked, and then at some point I got scared to do it by myself. So I'd call on a friend. My friend Sheila is a great singer and guitar player, and I did a lot of playing with her, and my friend Terrence, a little trio. I've played a lot of duos with friends over the years. Yeah, my brother included too, but then at some point I guess I got the bug just to be able to try it, see if it would work all by myself. To this day, I'm still trying to search out places to go do that. Whether it's at the Lethbridge Folk Club, mind you, that's going to be with a small band. So but just looking for opportunities to keep doing it.
What role does confidence play in that, playing with multiple people? And because I'm just curious for maybe people who are interested in music and maybe haven't taken that step, but did that really help you playing beside people and
Playing
in
with
what
others?
quantities?
For sure, yeah. Being part of a band it's a great education, because you learn from those around you. It's hard to describe the whole band dynamic. Somebody said one time it's a great position to be in, to be the worst musician in the band, because you have nothing to do but learn from those around you.
Kind of that idea of surrounding yourself with people that are as good or better than you, hopefully.
For sure. Yeah.
And how would you go about finding those people?
It's funny, there's jam sessions, there's picking parties around people's kitchen table and whatnot, and I never did a lot of that growing up. It was kind of like from zero to playing in a band. But since then, I've discovered a lot of people that just like to get together and trade songs and jam. That's a great way for a band to get started.
You mentioned playing music mostly regionally. So I'm just really curious about that, and what are the maybe advantages of that or disadvantages that you've maybe experienced over the years?
Well, I guess trying to combine that with running a ranch can be a challenge. So the region can't be too far flung. Back when Tim and I were in the band, we went Alberta, Saskatchewan, BC a little bit. And this summer with Morgan Kleiber, I got to see a few places that I hadn't been forever.
Yeah.
With her band, and there's something about it. Yeah, playing regionally is great.
You kind of mentioned towards at the beginning there, like just that idea of nowadays maybe people have to have a bit more of that go get it attitude, and so do you feel like that has been your experience also, and
Yeah,
trying to find places and venues and make events happen yourself? Has that been your experience?
yeah, truthfully, and well, another thing in this day and age is being on social media a little bit definitely helps. Probably without that, it'd be awful tough for me to do what I do, because there's no other, there's no record label that I'm going to get with at this point in my life.
Sure.
So it's producing your own thing and putting it out there that way, and it helps. It's hard to describe. It's the DIY thing, the recording. Not really ever going to a recording studio.
Yeah.
I was talking with Michael about that.
Yeah.
Putting tracks together at home and trying to produce something that's listenable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you feel as though what is your measure for whether or not something is listenable? Is it based on stuff that you listen to, or is it something completely different?
Yeah, they say comparison sometimes can be harmful, but a lot of times when I'm trying to produce something, I'll hold it up against something that I like by an artist that I admire.
Right.
Yeah. Knowing that I'm probably not going to get there, but it's a goal. It's something to shoot for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Producing your own work and just the work that goes into that. What are some like non-arts related skills that you think you've either picked up maybe from ranch life or elsewhere, and that you've had to develop in order to maybe help that?
I think public relations is a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Just being organized. Yeah. It's music's about people, so I think you got to become a communicator in some capacity.
How has your music been received, do you feel? Either in live or recorded versions? Let's start live.
Live.
How is your music received generally, do you feel?
I feel like it's fairly positive. It really depends where you're doing it. I've been lucky enough to play to a sit-down listening audience a little bit, and I feel like it's received pretty well there. It's funny though, because as you're doing it, for myself anyway, I'm not thinking so much how it's going to be received. I'm just trying to get through it and do a good job of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully it's not something that I ever want to. It's a tricky balance. If you're playing to a restaurant audience or something like that, it's quite a different animal than if you're playing for a listening audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what are some of the differences there? Like, what do you have to battle with, or what do you have working for you in those different contexts?
Well, I feel like playing for a listening audience. It used to be the most terrifying thing.
Okay.
Because all eyes and ears are on you.
Right.
But it's, for me, it's actually, I think it's become easier to do that because you can be as subtle as you need to be. If you're playing for an audience in a cafe or a bar, it's maybe a little bit more of a value to be able to grab people's attention with something, or just be in the background if that's what you're hired to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel as though you were more prepared for one of those than the other? Is there one that you had to really work at, like being the center of attention? Did you have to work at that, or was that natural for you?
No, it was anything but natural.
Okay.
Yeah, I really admire people that have never had a nervous bone in their body, or have been too self-aware. For me, it's been recently I've become pretty comfortable with it, but it's the furthest thing from what I ever thought I would do. Yeah. But it's really rewarding to be able to play something and to have people receive it.
How has your creativity or artistic practice, music, changed your everyday life?
Well, it's changed. Since I started writing songs, I guess it's changed it, and I'll walk around paying attention, looking for ideas. And music will be on my mind a lot of times, especially if I'm doing something that doesn't require super concentration.
Right.
You know, and I think most people are like that. You can walk around with a song in your head, right? Yeah. So maybe I'm a little more like that these days.
Well, that is all the time we have for this segment. So yeah, this has been the Windy City's finest on location, courtesy of TELUS STORYHIVE. We are here in Medicine Hat at Note Comfort Food and Drink. I'm Daniel.
I'm Michael, and this is...
And I'm Greg.
And we'll be right back.
Welcome back to TELUS STORYHIVE on location here in Medicine Hat at Note Comfort Food and Drink. I'm Michael.
I'm Daniel, and this is...
And I'm Greg.
Yeah, so Greg, I really enjoyed your chat with Daniel. This showcase segment is, of course, showing off your work, your music. So we thought it'd be appropriate to play a couple songs, and then we'll talk about the songs and the stories behind the songs. So
Okay.
yeah, so I think we discussed we're gonna take something from your latest album, which is Small Town Dance.
May as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's the first song you want to play from Small Town Dance?
Well, I'll maybe start with a song called My World. And I had the idea for this song. I was playing a house concert around Bragg Creek last fall. And my wife and son were staying on McLeod Trail in Calgary. I came back in to meet them after. And late at night, I had such a time finding the hotel. Long story short, I found out I'm not much of a big city guy.
Okay.
So this song is kind of about that.
All right. Take it away.
All right. I may never see Grand Canyon or the pyramids at night. Haven't flown to Rome or Rio or even seen Las Vegas lights. But there's more at Seven Wonders, so no wonder I don't go. Here in my world's little corner, there's one or two I might not know. My world's right here around me. It's the place I like the best, where almost all my days have found me, and where my old bones can rest. My world's right here around me, and like I've never been nowhere. I know it's warm down in Miami, but what's a guy like me want there? If my circle's nearly over, well, it ain't been too far flung. Sure, I'd like to see down under. I should've went when I was young. The circumference of this big marble, I guess I've almost been around. Going up and down this gravel, getting back and forth to town. My world's right here around me. It's the place I like the best, where almost all my days have found me, and where my old bones can rest. My world's right here around me, ain't like I've never been nowhere. I know it's warm down in Hawaii, but what's a guy like me want there? Different colors, every sunset, yellow cactus flowers in June, a billion blades of brown grass under a big orange harvest moon. My world's right here around me, ain't like I've never been nowhere. I know it's warm down in Miami, but what's a guy like me want there? I heard it's warm down in Hawaii, but what's a guy like me want there?
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. Thanks so much for that. That was a great
Thanks.
song. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah. And I know you said like long story short, but I'm just curious about, that experience of you being a big city. Like what kind of feelings were coming up that inspired this song?
It's funny because there was a line in that song, I can't even find my way off Stony. But it was just that feeling of not knowing which way to turn and not being used to, and it was weird because there was nobody else on the road, but I'm not real good when I get into Calgary behind the wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. And that time when you wrote that song, you were by yourself, right?
Yeah. I was alone then, coming back. Yeah. I didn't write the song then, but the idea sure started then. Yeah.
And then what's that process like? So you have this idea for the song, and you kind of like let it simmer for a while, or?
Yeah, definitely. It seems like most of these songs off the newest album have all simmered for a while. I've been in less of a hurry to complete a song lately. I think it's better just to let them sit and walk away sometimes, and better ideas come along. Yeah.
I think we're going to play one more song from that album.
I'll give
maybe
it,
the title track, was it?
Title track,
What we're doing? Was that, whatever you want to do.
This one's called, Small Town Dance, and I usually play this one on the mandolin, but I'll try to play it here, sure. Yeah, this one's kind of a non-fiction song, to be sure. A little bit about life experience. Yeah, playing little dances and going to them before I was old enough to play. So,
Okay.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
On a Saturday night since way back when they swept out the hall and the folks came in. Dance wax shaking to the band's first song. Hardwood floor about a half a mile long. 40-acre field full of trucks in line. The dancers dance and the fighters fight. They worked all week until they all came out to the church or the barn of the old schoolhouse. At a small town dance where we all would go since I was a little kid in a coat on the floor. Small town dance will make you feel alright and get to bed a little sooner on a Sunday night. When my dad rode over to the neighbor's place, rawhide strap around a banjo case, rolling back a rug in a living room, picking out a party at the Cypress School. Bonspield's grads and rodeos, Maple Creek table rockin' Buffalo, Elkwater Wisdom, New Year's Ball, Clearwater Walsh or the Bylaws Hall. Had a small town dance where we all would go since I was a little kid in a coat on the floor. Small town dance would make you feel alright and get to bed a little sooner on a Sunday night. With a band at the wedding at the hall last night. Didn't sing so great, but they played alright. My two left boots made a real good try at a two-step, a polka, and a butterfly. Coffee, perk, sugar cubes, and styro cups. Midnight lunch till I lost my buzz, trying to find my truck. A chill outside when we pulled in the yard just before daylight. Had a small town dance where we all would go since I was a little kid in a coat on the floor. Small town dance would make you feel alright and get to bed a little sooner on a Sunday night. Small town dance, best kind I know since I was a little kid in a coat on the floor. Get your brand new jeans, make them old boots shine. Can't wait to see you there again next time.
Tell me about like the inspiration for this song that you wrote.
I think I just kind of woke up one morning with that little ditty going through my head, and I remember my friend Carter Felker and I had two gigs that coming weekend when I got the idea, and I was so excited to play it. And I played it both places, but I could barely get through it because it's a little wordy, and I had trouble remembering it. But yeah, now I got the words, and it's just kind of mustering the breath to get them all out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems like that's like a very danceable song, right? So you might play that maybe at a actual small town dance.
Yeah, totally. If I was playing a dance, I'd for sure play that one.
Yeah. I really love the rich imagery, and there's lots of descriptions, and it really brought me to that small town dance. And yeah, so you would have gone to these when you were very young, you said?
I remember being Elkwater, Alberta, I think my dad made a little comeback at one point, and he played for a dance. My brother might have sat in with them, but at some point the kids end up in literally sleeping in coats, on coats in the corner type of thing. So
lots of good memories around that
oh
time.
yeah, lots of great memories for sure. I wish there was more of that thing going on. Every little community hall in the area used to have a dance at some point. Not as much nowadays, but maybe it'll make a comeback.
I think that is all the time we have for this segment, Greg.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, we really enjoyed
fun.
the conversation. I really enjoyed you playing songs, and I really look forward to seeing you again in and around Medicine Hat.
That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this has been On Location, brought to you by TELUS Story Hive, here in Medicine Hat at Node Comfort Food and Drink. I'm Michael.
I'm Daniel, and this has been...
And I'm Greg Herman. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks so much for watching.
If you or someone you know has a story to tell, scan this QR code and get in touch with the Story Hive On Location team.